Morning world, it's Saturday the 13th of July 2024. It's about 20 to 10 in the morning UK time at the time I'm recording this. The sun's in Cancer, the moon's in Libra, and we're heading into the Mars-Uranus conjunction. Mars in the sky will conjunct Uranus at about 26 degrees 0 in just over 2 days' time. The actual time of the conjunction is at 4 minutes past 3 in the afternoon, UK time. And this will take place at about 26 degrees 15 minutes of Taurus. Now, this is what's actually happening in the sky from an geocentric, Earth-based perspective. It's furtherly complicated by the fact that the triple star Algol is currently at 26 degrees 32 minutes of Taurus. It moves about 1 minute of 1 degree each year over a long period of time. As many of you know, I've just come back from southern Spain, where I've been doing a lot of work with Moorish astrology and astronomy. And it is the Moors that gave us every word in our language that begins with A-L. Alcohol, algebra, alchemy, algorithm, Algol. Algol is a Western derivative of an ancient Arabic word, Algol, and it means the head of the demon, the head of the devil. The earliest reference to Algol comes from Egyptian texts about 1500 BC, and there it was noted that Algol was seemingly a binary star. They noticed its occultation. Although later Arabic astronomers, particularly around the 8th and 9th century, made no reference to Algol. The earliest contemporary reference to Algol as a binary star comes from about 1700. And actually Algol is a double binary in that there are 3 stars. There's Algol A, which is a smaller star but much more powerful. Algol B, which is only about, it's less than 1 astronomical unit away from Algol A. So it's only about 500,000 miles. They're really tight, and they occult each other every 2.5 days, which is why observers of Algol have noticed that it fades every 2.5 days for a couple of hours as one star passes in front of the other. Algol C is a much bigger star, but much weaker in terms of energy, and that has a much larger orbit around Algol A and B. The earliest astrological reference to Algol as a difficult energy comes from Ptolemy in the 2nd century in his Tetrabiblos, where he talks about the head of the Gorgon, where Perseus slew Medusa. And Algol over history has been associated with difficult energy. It's been to do with decapitation and challenges involving the head. Now, this is not to say that anybody or everybody, excuse me, with any point in their horoscope at 26 Taurus is going to suffer from any injuries or occurrences involving their head or skull, obviously. However, there is a stronger chance than normal that people with planets at 26 Taurus will, over the course of their life, suffer more than their average amount of challenges to their head, as in bump, bang, burn, bruise, broken bone, or knocks on the head, headaches, migraines. In this last few days, since I've come back from Granada, I've been doing a lot of readings for people, slowly catching up with my waiting list. And so many people in this last few days have said to me, I've got a headache. This is really unusual for me. And I've had a headache. With Mars conjunct Uranus, I was born with it, so I can't be objective about it. But from a subjective perspective, Mars conjunct Uranus Mars is about your physical vitality, your sex drive, your energy levels, your dynamicism, your capacity to be projective and assertive, as well as aggressive and confrontation. It's about warfare, violence, anger, as well as heroism, bravery, and courage. It's your athletic ability. Uranus brings change. It's electrical, it's sparky, it's unpredictable, it's innovative and futuristic, with keywords being independence, freedom, and liberty. At the same time, it can be chaotic and disruptive when it feels limited or restricted. So Mars conjunct Uranus is true wildfire. It carries a lot of static electricity about it, and it creates periods of sudden actions and sudden change. To have Mars-Uranus together in Taurus, where neither planet is really comfortable, because Mars is loud and fiery and Taurus is very down-to-earth and grounded. So with Mars in Taurus, it's a kind of hot earth, so lava. And with Uranus being the change bringer, Mars conjunct Uranus in Taurus is going to bring sudden changes in a disruptive way that's going to upset the roots and foundations and the ground energy of a number of prominent people and situations in this next few days. And because of its connection with Algol, there's likely to be one or two situations where people, hopefully just metaphorically, really do lose their head. It would be very easy for people to say or do something in the next few days which would be completely out of proportion to the situation, where they could easily end up saying or doing something they later regret. Impulsiveness, volatility, impatience, anger and frustration. We've recently in the UK, in the last 2 or 3 days, had a couple of very, very gruesome murders. And this is perhaps more normal in other countries, but in the UK it's quite shocking. We don't have guns, so there's been a particularly nasty set of crossbow murders in an area where I used to live, which was a bit weird. And then there's been some dismemberment cases, also fairly close to where I live. And it's gruesome, and this is classic Algol energy. Medusa was one of the Gorgons. Not a nice energy at all. You don't look at the Gorgons because you get turned to stone. And the idea of decapitation, Perseus decapitating the Gorgon, is cutting the head off the head of the devil. So I don't want to just come across as too negative on this. There has to be an equally strong positive alternative. So it seems to me that if individuals who are being affected by this conjunction can grab the energy and ride with it instead of being ridden by it, then there's the capacity here for making short, sharp, incisive decisions and actions that are not necessarily merciless or ruthless, but are very much yes, no, black, white, and you can make things happen without getting caught up in the feeling and emotion, and you can get results. But it has to be incisive and sharp with no compromise, and that's a difficult thing for a lot of people. So there is a positive side to this. And the thing is, this will be over in 3 or 4 days' time. It just so happens that this conjunction falls very strongly in the charts of both contenders for the presidential election in America, at the same time as the Republican convention, which I believe is in the next few days. So I do expect fireworks in America. The fireworks in France and Britain are now seemingly calming down after the recent weeks. But this is only a hiatus as this calms down, because in about 9 days' time, 8 days' time, there's a full moon conjunct Pluto. And that's going to be a real stinker also for a large number of people. So we live in hectic times. This is one of those times, it's not out of control, but it does feel like we're on a train that's going too fast. And it's rocking from side to side. And it'll be easy to get panicked by what we see as the frenetic, the radical, and the angry. But if you can keep a cool head, if you can make yes-no choices, if you can act incisively so that you use the energy instead of the energy using you, you can get results here. And by the time we're into the 22nd, 23rd, 24th of this month, 11 days from now, 10 days from now, we're entering a much greater period of calm. But in the short term, Mars conjunct Uranus conjunct Algol and a full moon conjunct Pluto, there's going to be some very big actions in the next few days around leaders of the world, metaphorically at least, losing their head. I intend to stay low and pretend to be Teflon coated, and I advise all of my friends and clients to stay the same and deliberately choose to walk away from confrontation, argument and decision, and instead say to the people concerned, do you know what, I'm going to go away and think about this. And I'll come back to you around about the 22nd of this month, 23rd of this month, and then I'll have an answer for you. And that will solve so many problems without letting them get out of proportion. Listen, over the coming few days, things are going to get a bit crazy. So, surf the waves, stay Teflon coated, don't get too deeply involved in anything, don't let anger consume or absorb you. Keep your sense of humour, even through the tears. Catch you later, world. Bye.